Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Apple, Spotify, or Google, please leave a 5-star rating. This content is brought to you by Uphold, which is a great platform where you can buy, sell, trade, and earn cryptocurrencies. I've been using Uphold since 2017. They're one of my go-to exchanges for liquidity. They have 10 plus million users, 200 plus cryptocurrencies, and they're available in 150 countries. And as I've been saying lately, you can use exchanges to buy and sell your crypto, but you should always self-custody your crypto. Put it on a hardware wallet or a self-hosted wallet where you control the private keys. So even though I'm highlighting Uphold as an exchange I use, I self-custody my crypto. So that's a little caveat there that you should all be aware of given the current climate in the crypto market. Now let's jump into the news. First up, we got headlines that crypto is now dead. Yes, those bottom signal headlines are coming in, my friends. Those of you who this is not your first rodeo. You've been in the crypto bear markets before. You remember seeing these headlines. Crypto's now dead. Crypto's a scam. Crypto's not going anywhere, right? These are headlines that are going to pop up, but they're great signs for macro long-term investors like you and I, where it's a signal that we're near the bottom and we continue to dollar cost average, hodl, and be patient and wait for the next bull market. So I love this, even though the mainstream folks, the common man who's not well researched into crypto, who doesn't understand the market cycles will unfortunately fall for this. But, that's the dumb money crowd, right? They buy the tops, right, of bull markets instead of the bottoms of bear markets, which we want to be on the side of smart money, buying the bottoms of bear markets. So the sub-headline here is FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange, collapsed last week, proving a lot of cool guys horribly wrong. And of course, it goes into different themes and thoughts. But here's one where they compared crypto to communism. It says crypto became like communism, which promises power to the people through decentralization, but ultimately leads to power in the hands of a select few. Now, is that an issue with certain exchanges and certain coins? Absolutely. But that is not, you can't use that as a blanket statement to say every coin is like that. There are many decentralized tokens out there. And a lot of benefits, right? This technology is here to stay. We're going to cover some big news today about it. And it will be adopted by banks, stock exchanges, payment companies. We've already seen that, right? Just over the past 4 months, BlackRock entered, BNY Mellon, Google, MasterCard, and many more. So these headlines will fool the average Joe and Jane who are not paying attention, who are not well researched. So this is why you want to do your own research. You want to read the facts. You want to test the technology, and you want to investigate it as much as possible and know what you're investing in. Now, Sam Bankman-Fried, my goodness, many of you have been watching his tweet thread where he's just been spelling out the word happened, essentially saying what happened, kind of almost pseudo trolling us, right? Well, he actually put together some actual thoughts, some sentences today. And I'll read it out for you guys. It's interesting. He says, I'll get to what happened, but for now, let's talk about where we are today. To the best of my knowledge, as of, it looks like in November 7th, with the potential for errors, first, Alameda had more assets than liabilities month to month, but not liquid. B, Alameda had margin position on FTX International. C, FTX US had enough to repay all customers. However, he said not everyone necessarily agrees with this. He continues saying, my one goal is to do right by customers. I'm contributing what I can do to doing so. I don't understand what he's saying here. I'm meeting in person with regulators and working with the teams to do what we can for customers. And after that, investors, but first customers. Finally, he says here, my goal is A, clean up and focus on transparency. B, make customers whole. Well, here's the problem. He's saying all these things, but we've seen he's lied to us and he's deleted tweets, right? So I think we have to wait and see what he actually does. I don't care what he says. He can say anything, and it's easy to type on a note on Twitter, right? But the actions speak louder than the words. So we need to see what he's going to do here. I don't know if they're going to get any type of bailout or if they're going to get customer funds back. While folks are angry, I'm actually hoping he's able to get some of the funds back, because that will at least help, put the fire out that's happening right now with FTX in the market. So let's see what happens, guys. But I'm not too optimistic. I'm not too optimistic here. They're in a very deep hole, and we've seen lies and lies upon lies from these guys. Now, as a result of FTX's collapse, we know they had a line of credit with BlockFi, essentially bailing BlockFi out. Well, with FTX's collapse, BlockFi is preparing for a potential bankruptcy. And this is being reported by the Wall Street Journal. I think this should come as no surprise, right? BlockFi was already in trouble. They go attach themselves to FTX. Part of the deal was they had to move a bunch of their funds, the client funds, onto FTX. They can't get access to that anymore. And remember, Gary Gensler and the SEC hit up BlockFi for $100 million penalty fine. I bet BlockFi could use that $100 million right now, but it's in the pockets of Gary Gensler and the SEC. Then that's a shame in itself, right? But BlockFi is done. I think BlockFi is done. They can't keep coming back from these hits. And I think, they may have to chop up the business and sell it to the highest bidders. I think that's what's going to happen. Even if they get bailed out, I don't think people are going to trust that brand, right? It's already tarnished, just like FTX. If FTX gets bailed out, let's say BlackRock buys FTX, I'm not going to put my money on there, right? A lot of people are not going to put their money on it. It's because it's already has that bad reputation. So branding is so important, right, you guys, even in the crypto market. So we got some news today, and this one is big, my friends. Fed's Barr, and this is, of course, Michael Barr, who actually worked at Ripple. He's saying, we are working on cryptocurrency guidance with other regulators. And of course, this is coming in part or due to the FTX collapse. And this is being reported by the Wall Street Journal. So here's the headline. Fed's Michael Barr says crypto turmoil highlights potential risks to financial system. Warning comes in the wake of FTX collapse and as bank regulators begin hearings on Capitol Hill. So, my friends, expect hearings coming about FTX, and let's see what they come up with as far as crypto regulations. I talked about it yesterday. I am concerned that they're going to over-regulate here and overreach, but hopefully they can find a balance. And there's a big, big problem, of course, with the SEC, and folks are waiting to see what will happen with the Ripple lawsuit, which, we're going to talk a bit about that today. But of course, I think everyone's fear is that a heavy hand is going to come down on crypto because of this FTX debacle. Now, here's the other aspect of the Fed. Speaking of the Fed, MasterCard, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, and others launch a 12-week experimental digital dollar pilot with the New York Fed. My friends, CBDCs are coming. I am not a fan of CBDCs, but there's nothing we can do here unless you're going to destroy the government or something. There's nothing you can do to stop this. And I tried to explain to some Bitcoin maximalists who use this as a talking point. CBDCs are coming. They're coming to do this. Yes. And it's going to be part of the financial system and people are going to have to use it. My concern has always been is the right to privacy. Will it maintain the right to privacy? And that is still up for debate. But look who's involved. And some of the biggest players in the markets, credit card companies, banks, and some of these players are, of course, already in crypto, like MasterCard and so forth. So this is huge, guys. And you may say, well, why is this bullish for crypto? Well, my friends, it's the token economy. Everything on the blockchain, fiat currency on the blockchain, real estate on the blockchain, securities, commodities, and of course, you have your crypto and your digital assets and NFTs. Token economy. And remember what I've often said, when these CBDCs start rolling out, what are governments going to do? Educate the masses. This is why this is true digitization of money. It's tokenized on the blockchain and yada, yada. And here's why you can trust it. And you can see transaction history and all that stuff, right? Well, that's the technology crypto and digital assets run on. So as you can imagine, folks, it's going to break down that education barrier for these many folks who, don't know about crypto, but also don't trust it. But it will break down that barrier, and I think that's going to usher a lot more people into crypto. So Citigroup, HSBC, BNY Mellon, Wells Fargo, and MasterCard are among the financial giants taking part. Guys, I'm going to try to get the folks from the Digital Dollar Project back on the show, Chris Giancarlo, who I've interviewed multiple times to talk about this. So the 12-week proof of concept pilot program will explore the use of a platform known as the Regulated Liability Network, or RLN, whereby banks issue tokens that represent customer deposits that are settled on a central bank reserve on a shared distributed ledger. The project will be conducted in a test environment using only simulated data. While many central banks are developing or considering retail central bank digital currencies, which are forms of digital money for use by the public, many are also testing wholesale CBDCs, which are fiat money in token form for exchange amongst financial institutions to improve existing clearing and settlement processes. So it's coming, folks. The big banks, the big players are involved. And look, they're not going to push back on the government, right? They're in bed with the government. So the CBDCs and so forth will flow through these major institutions. There's no way to avoid this. Now, speaking of CBDCs here, we got some news about the Circle USDC stablecoin. Circle CEO Jeremy Allaire tweeted out, "As we strive to bring more people into Web3 and native digital currency, USDC, excited to launch this new on-ramp API for developers to connect Apple Pay to USDC settlement." So stablecoins will, of course, be part of the token economy. They will serve their purpose. And I think the government's, of course, going to regulate stable coins, because first they need to make sure these stablecoin companies, Tether and so forth, and even Circle, that they have the reserves and they have audited balance sheets. And this is, of course, needs to be a standard across the entire crypto market. But that these stable coins, are backed 1-to-1 to the respective dollar. And it's great to see Circle. They're doing their thing. They're regulated. They're in the U.S. So it wouldn't surprise me if the U.S. government takes USDC and makes that the digital dollar. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what they come up with. Now, speaking of settlements, money, movement of money. Very big news from Ripple today. They said, "We're thrilled to announce that our on-demand liquidity, ODL," and remember, this uses XRP, "is expanding via our partnership with MFS Africa, which is Africa's largest mobile payment gateway, where the only currency that matters is access." So this is a big partnership in a big region, right? Africa is huge and with a lot of different countries. So Africa holds 70% of the world's $1 trillion mobile money value, and ODL will further enhance digital payment rails across the continent. Huge news here. Huge. And here's the headline on Ripple's website: "A win for financial inclusion in Africa." And, I remember my interview with Charles Hoskinson, founder of Cardano, and we talked about the work Cardano is doing in Africa. And one of the takeaways from that was how Africa is really primed to benefit, at a greater extent than other countries in the world. And I would include India in that, but I would say Africa, but just because folks are starting from a bottom level in most cases, right? They don't have the financial structure. They don't have the setups that we do in first world countries. And I'm not saying all of Africa, but majority of Africa, right? So they don't have the red tapes. They don't have the incumbents fighting like we do in the United States. So with this technology coming to them, and many folks have mobile phones and smartphones, you can see rapid adoption and just faster integration. So I think many countries across Africa are going to benefit richly from this. And we're going to see, I think, faster adoption here. So this is really, really cool to see, and really great that this technology is going to help bring different parts of the world, which, they need that financial services and infrastructure. It's going to help bring it to them. So this is great news from a humanity standpoint, of course. So Ripple's on-demand liquidity solution reduces frictions and bottlenecks associated with sending money across borders via legacy payment rails, like expensive fees, slow payment settlement times, and even access to a physical bank branch. According to the UN, Africa boasts a $2.7 trillion market opportunity, the largest driver of business growth worldwide, and innovative digital payment rails can make this a reality. While mobile money users in Africa have grown exponentially in recent years, the number of users worldwide is expected to reach 70% of the global population. These users largely reside in frontier markets in Asia Pacific and Africa, markets that often struggle with liquidity sourcing, which provides ample opportunity for crypto solutions like ODL to buttress businesses that cannot source capital via traditional sources. Really great news here, guys. I'm actually, not just because I hold XRP, this makes me excited, but once again, the technology being able to solve real world problems and helping people who, once again, they don't have the things that we have in these first world countries, and even the businesses and so forth. So I think really, really great news here. Now, on the SEC Ripple lawsuit front, the judge yesterday approved the amicus briefs that they can be filed. Well, a whole flurry of them came in today on behalf of Ripple, like the Crypto Council of Innovation, the Reaper Financial LLC, Blockchain Association, Veridao, all these folks, they started coming in like rapid fire here, Paradigm and so forth. So the amicus briefs on behalf of Ripple are being sent in to the judge. So we know that the amicus briefs vastly outweigh and outnumber the ones for the SEC, right? The SEC, in fact, the folks who put together the ones for the SEC seem kind of amateur, while you have Coinbase and Blockchain Association and advocacy groups, which are filing on behalf of Ripple. So we shall see, guys. Things are moving ahead. I'm hoping, we get some sort of settlement by early 2023. I don't think anything's going to happen this year, but I could be wrong, right? I can absolutely be wrong. Something could happen tomorrow. We just don't know. But I'm hoping, something comes next year. Now, CZ, CEO of Binance, he tweeted out today, 8 billion people will use crypto in a few years. So, of course, the macro view, the bullish outlook. And then right after that, Binance announced that they're doing a NFT launch with Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, the well-known soccer player or football player, for my non-US folks who are listening or watching. So big name, and NFTs are here to stay. So here they highlighted, own a piece of sports history forever with Cristiano Ronaldo NFT collection coming soon exclusively on Binance. So a really big partnership here. And then finally, you all know I've been very bullish on MATIC beating the drum on MATIC, which is a native token of Polygon. And their partnership with Nike continues to evolve here. They tweeted out, grab your kicks, plus bring your A game. Nike is building their Web3 experiences exclusively on Polygon. This is the first step of the journey, and we can't wait to see how Nike engages its community through Web3. Guys, I know this FTX situation puts a big damper on many things in the market, but the technology, the building continues by these big players. Do you think BlackRock cares that FTX is collapsing, whatever? They don't care. They're building. They know the next bull market's coming and future bull markets. So I hope that many of you have the macro outlook and the patience as well, because that's what it takes to make the money, right? Just even look at Warren Buffett with the stock market. And how long, he kept investing, and then he had to wait, of course, for the bull cycles. And then there were recessions and bear markets along the way, but he didn't get scared. He didn't dump and run away and so forth. He educated himself. He learned about the cycles, and they kept investing. right? And obviously him and Charlie Munger are doing well. Now I know they're not big fans of crypto, and we all know why. That because it pulls money out of the stock market, it pulls money out of their funds, and it's going to crypto, which they don't have control of, and they can't manipulate it as the same way as the stock market and central banks have manipulated assets. So that's what's happening, my friends. The adoption continues. Please let me know what you think about this news with the Fed, doing this pilot tests with the digital dollar with big banks and credit card companies. And of course, I think this big Ripple news of launching ODL in Africa, which once again uses XRP. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, share this video, and I'll talk to you all later.